Good morning, students. In today's class, we'll study about one well-known and very famous problem in the number theory called Chinese remainder theorem, which finds a lot of application in network security, information security, and cryptography. The main objective of today's session is to understand the principle behind a famous theorem called Chinese remainder theorem. Here we are going to explain about the definition of the theorem and how the theorem is applicable, and also what is its usage in cryptography and network security. What is the applications of Chinese remainder theorem in computer network security? At the end of today's session, you should be in a position to understand the definition and the purpose of Chinese remainder theorem and its usage in network security, information security, cryptography, and some related areas. In order to understand the Chinese remainder theorem, we should have some background about the topics that we have covered in our previous session, that is prime number, co-prime number, primality testing, and factorization. What is a prime number? A prime number is a number which does not have any other divisor. Its only divisors are 1 and itself. For example, 11 is divisible by only 1 and 11, not by any other number. Whereas 12 is divisible by not only 1 and 12, it is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 6, etc. So that's why 12 is considered a composite number. What do you mean by primality testing? Primality testing is a process of checking whether a given number is prime or not. There are so many algorithms that helps in checking whether the given number is prime or not. And the third topic is factorization. Prime factorization is nothing but expressing any number as a product of prime number. For example, consider a number called 30. 30 we can express it as 2 into 3 into 5. 2 into 3 is 6. 6 into 5 is 30. Whereas 2, 3, 5 all are prime number. So any number which can be the process of expressing any number as a product of many prime number, we call it as prime factorization. And in our last class, we studied some of the famous theorems related to primality testing. One such famous theorem is Fermat's theorem, which helps in checking whether a given number is prime or not. In today's class, we'll be learning about another well-known theorem in number theory called Chinese remainder theorem. Why it is called Chinese remainder theorem is this theorem was originated from China. In number theory, Chinese remainder theorem states that if one knows the remainder of the Euclidean division of an integer by several integers, suppose n is one number, and if we know what is the remainder obtained when n is divided by some other integer n1, n2, etc., then we can easily determine the remainder of the division of n by the product of all these integers under the condition that the divisors are pairwise co-primes. We'll explain again. If n is a number, and if we know what is the remainder we get when n is divided by n1, what is the remainder we get when n is divided by n2, then by n3, etc. That means if we know the remainder of division of n by some set of integer, then we can easily determine what is the remainder obtained when n is divided by the product of these integer. The rule says that any two such number must be pairwise co-primes. And it is given by a Chinese mathematician by the name Sun Tzu in the Sun Tzu Xuanqing in 3rd century AD. It's a very old problem in number theory. But even though the problem has an origin long dated back to 3rd century, even now this theorem finds a lot of application in information security, network security, cryptography, etc. Now start with the exact definition of the Chinese remainder theorem. Let n1, n2, n3, nk be the integer such that each of these integers is greater than 1, and these integers are called as divisors. That means each of these integers are divisible. We can divide n by each of these n1, n2, n3 are the divisors of the number capital N. That means n can be expressed as the product of ni. That means this process of expressing any number as a product of many prime, we call it as a prime factorization. So n can be expressed as the product of each of these n1, n2, etc., where n1, n2, etc., they are called the divisors of the given number n. The Chinese remainder theorem states that if each of these ni are pairwise co-prime, that means n1 is co-prime to n2, N1, N3 are co-primes, N1, N3 are N4, N2, any two such Ni you take, they are co-primes. And if A1, A2, AK are the integers, such that each of these integer is in the range from 0 to Ni. That means A1 is less than 0, less than or equal to A1, less than or equal to N1, 0 less than or equal to A2, less than N2, 0 less than or equal to A3, less than N3 for every I. Then there is one and only one integer x, such that 0 less than or equal to x less than n, and the remainder of the Euclidean division of x by Ni is Ai for every I. So even though the definition looks cryptic, it's easy to understand when we study the algorithm with some suitable example. Now the same theorem is restated based on the concept of congruences. If Ni are pairwise co-prime, N1, N2 pairwise co-prime, N1, N3, N2, N3, etc. And if there exists some integer such that A1, A2, AK, etc., then there exists an integer x such that x is congruent to A1 mod N1, x is congruent to A2 mod N2, x is congruent to A3 mod N3, and x is congruent to AK mod Nk. And any two solutions, say x1 and x2, are congruent modulo n, that is x1 is congruent to x2 mod n. Chinese remainder theorem finds lot of application in cryptography, information security, network security, and some related area. The main usage of Chinese remainder theorem is to increase the speed of the encryption and decryption process in the RSA algorithm. Anyway, RSA algorithm is going to be covered in some in the future slides. And it's also find application in public key encryption method. In order to understand the Chinese remainder theorem, let us start with simple example. X is x congruent to 6 mod 11, x congruent to 13 mod 16, x congruent to 9 mod 21, x congruent to 19 mod 25. Here, N1, N2, N3, N4 values are 11, 16, 21, 25. And A1, A2, A3, A4 values are 6 mod 6, 13, 9, 19. So, Ni is 11, 16, 21, 25, and Ai is 6, 13, 9, 19. And such that these relations 6, x is congruent to 6 mod 11, x is congruent to 13 mod 16, x is congruent to 9 mod 21, and x is congruent to 19 mod 25 holds good. Since, and in addition to that one, 11, 16 are co-prime, 11 and 21 are co-prime, 16, 21 is co-prime, and any two such pairs are co-prime. Then the Chinese remainder theorem says that there is a unique solution modulo m, where the value of m is equal to the product of each of these Ni, n11 into 16 into 21 into 25, that is equal to 92,400. Let us briefly revise what we have studied in today's class. In today's class, we learned about the definition of Chinese remainder theorem, what is the origin of Chinese remainder theorem, and what is the application of Chinese remainder theorem, especially in cryptography, where Chinese remainder theorem can be applied in cryptography. In the cryptography, the two main stages are encryption and decryption process. Encryption process is to convert plain text into ciphertext, and decryption process is to convert the ciphertext back into plain text. So generally, these two processes, they are based on certain key generated. So it takes more time. But with the adoption of Chinese remainder theorem, the encryption and decryption process the speed can be increased. Chinese remainder theorem is based on congruences, composite number, pseudo-random number, none of these. The correct answer is A, congruences. Chinese remainder theorem is useful in speed up of decryption process in formats method, RSA method, RAS algorithm, none of these. The correct answer is RSA algorithm, B. Chinese remainder theorem speeds up the computation in cryptography, true or false? True. Okay, friends, with this, I will conclude today's session. In the next class, I will explain about another important algorithm in cryptography. Thank you.